So we want to welcome Emily St. Martin today. So, Emily, who are you?
Well, I'm Emily St. Martin. I'm a professional organizer here in the Boston area. And I love working with seniors to help them downsize and figure out their next moves in life.
How long have you been doing this now?
So I've had my company for 8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have a background in both business and education. And I found this is a really great way to marry those skills and to be hands on, helping folks really be successful in paths forward.
So let's kind of talk about that. So, 8 years ago, what kind of gave you the idea to start this business?
Yeah, well, I spent quite a few years working in higher education here in the Boston area, and I knew I needed a shift. And I had an aunt who was very sick at the time with ALS, and she wasn't married, she didn't have any children, and she ended up passing away. And somebody had to clean out her house.
Wow.
So I volunteered, and in about 6 weeks, I cleaned out her entire condo. I found places to donate items and really got everything ready to go to market. And I sort of had this light bulb moment of this is something I could do that would be really impactful to others. And I could really help others through what can be a really difficult time. And I started my business about 6 weeks later and never looked back.
Wow. I mean, have you had this type of skill most of your life that maybe you didn't know that you had?
Well, I like to joke when I'm a certified educator, and there was a time I was working two jobs. I was working part-time in a school, and I ended up working an office gig in the afternoon. And it's kind of funny in hindsight because my first role with them was they hired me to help move their office and to
Wow.
orchestrate the move. And if you look at it, this that many years before, I think I've sort of always had it in my blood.
Sure. No, so is there an average age of a clientele that you have, or do you kind of have a full spectrum?
I work with a full spectrum of clients. I work with everyone from busy families with young kids who just don't have time to deal with all of the stuff in their house
Sure.
to folks getting ready to make shifts in their life, leaving homes they've been in for 30 and 40 years. They're too overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. N- They may have kids who don't want things that they've been saving. So, my
Yeah.
best piece of advice to them is always if you're even thinking about starting the downsizing process, start now.
And that's great advice. And I know everybody's different, but do you find some common issues with different people that you work with?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in the senior space, we have people who have held on to things for many, many years, either with intentions of passing them on to their kids, but their kids are either in a place where they can't take them or they don't want them. And that can be really hard to hear. Or kind of going through items, it really makes you reflect back on your whole life. And that in itself can be really overwhelming and challenging for folks, especially as they're pondering sort of the next step. Um, and
Yeah.
sometimes people just don't disagree or they disagree on what they want to bring.
No, I completely get that. It's kind of final question. So when you're getting up in the morning, what kind of motivates you? What excites you about the day ahead?
Yeah. Well, I always like to say, I have the best clients. It is such a privilege to be let into people's lives. And they let me see a really personal side of their space a lot of time. And to hear the stories I've been told about why things are important to them and to really help move them through the hurdles and help them get through the points where they've been stuck and see them through. It's really rewarding to see as they settle in once they've overcome this task that seemed impossible in front of them.
That's fantastic. And I want to say thank you for joining us today, Emily. I also want to say thank you for joining the Boston home team, and you have yourself a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.